Yo, 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 it's your boy, Caped Informer, back in the building. Came to drop in real quick just to provide some updates on a project I'm deeply anticipating myself, and that is Netflix's live-action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop. Now, if you call yourself a true anime fan and haven't watched this series, or worse, even heard of it, just to let you know that your otaku card has officially been revoked, my friend. Anyways, as with any anime being adapted into live action, there's always a decent amount of anxiety around the project. Basically because so many studios completely screw it up. Like, completely. Especially the American ones. However, thanks to this recent interview by IO9, writer Javier Grillo Marchwash, I'm definitely butchering that, he has come to relieve some tension that fans may be having. While talking to IO9, the writer said, "You can't look at Cowboy Bebop and say, well, it's just a takeoff point. We're going to give them different hair and different clothing, and we're going to call it something different. And it's just sort of going to be a loose thing. If you're doing Cowboy Bebop, you're doing Cowboy Bebop, you know? It's kind of like Star Wars." Now, you see, I don't actually understand that. Star Wars is one of the most famous franchises in the world, rich with sequels, prequels, and all kinds of mythos. There is only one season of Cowboy Bebop, and in my opinion, they don't have room to stray too far away from what their original art was. He continues and says, "Being a sci-fi nerd in the 90s meant you'd sit there and watch a show, and for the first act, you're usually just getting information you already know. Flash forward to like almost 30 years later, and TV is weird now. Like, TV is batshit crazy right now. It is hard to tell people how weird Game of Thrones is to me, having grown up in a world where the thing most like Game of Thrones was a show called Wizards and Warriors that was on CBS in the late 80s. We can be weird. We can look at anime and take design cues out of anime." Interesting. Very interesting. When adapting a show like Cowboy Bebop to live action, I wouldn't initially try to take the weird approach. If anything, the show was stylish, it was slick, it was an anime that moved to the beat of its own drum. And speaking on how he plans to expand the story and its arc, the writer continued, "You've got a show where you have 26 episodes that are full of very colorful villains, very colorful stories, very colorful adversaries, bounties, and all of that. We're not going to go one-on-one with all of those stories because we're also trying to tell the broader story of Spike Spiegel and the Syndicate, Spike Spiegel and Julia, Spike Spiegel and Vicious, and all of that. But we are looking at the show and saying, who are some of the great villains in the show, and how can we put them into the broader narrative, so that we are telling both of the big stories that Cowboy Bebop tells." Now, I can't agree about the colorful and, dare I say, flamboyant villains in the show. Spike's story and him dealing with his past wasn't something that took a back seat to that, however. If anything, most of the villains were more filler and character development for Spike. At the very least, it sounds like he does have a true passion for the anime and telling the original story, but will it be enough? We'll have to wait and find out. Production was halted due to the virus, and I also believe it was stopped before that due to an injury on set. So I don't think there is a confirmed release date at the moment. However, it was said about 3 episodes were already filmed and ready to go. The show stars John Cho as Spike Spiegel, as well as Elena Satine as Julia, Mustafa Shakir as Jet Black, Daniela Pineda as Faye Valentine, and Alex Hassel as Vicious. What are your thoughts on this adaptation, and are you excited for a Cowboy Bebop adaptation? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace!